That's Mr. Tony Sanders there. Tell them about that one, Tony, so you damn know.
Oh, that song was written by Gail Johnson and myself, and we got Paul Jackson Jr. on guitar, Bad Man, and it's really a fun song. Forever Yours, you know, which ties into the All About Love thing. And I got much love for Gail Johnson because I sent her that song with basically just the bass and the bass line, the melody and the bass line on it, and she put in all that stuff. You know, she's remarkable. We just have a rapport.
Man, that's my she's called Philly the Kid. That's my Philadelphia girl. She went to Catholic school. I went to Catholic school. I love Gail completely. I love her independence. I love how she started Jazzin Pink. And she's a role warrior. She's a trailblazer.
Oh yeah, man. She's bad.
Very bad.
She's very bad.
Very bad. She's in town, I believe, this weekend, man. Because I know Norman is doing a show up in Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
With Jeanette Harris. That was yesterday. So
okay.
She might have been in the vicinity. And I heard that was a great show last night. If y'all missed the art event at the Empress Theater last night, the Teen Carnival. Boy, you missed a great event. I heard about this event, but I never realized how great it was. Very nice last night. And I'll be telling you some more future events coming up, including one we got Superb Sunday. Pete Escovedo's in town today. He's at the Vino Godfather Winery. A friend of yours I know there.
Oh yeah.
And we got the Rock by the Bay coming up in September. And Tony's gonna talk about his show, if you'd like to plug that in there.
Oh yeah, October 26th we'll be playing at Yoshi's, the CD release party. And got a great band, Dave Ellis, Vernon Black, Gail Johnson,
Gail's gonna be in the band?
yeah, and Darian Gray and Kevin Wong. The band is incredible, and it's gonna be off. The hit is gonna be so far on one, it's gonna be damn near zero.
Come on. All right, I'm gonna give y'all one more taste. Not one more taste. I'm gonna give you another taste off that album. One that's really taking the charts by storm right now, and it's a remake of the Whispers classic, And the Beast Goes On. Talk to us about that.
Hey, I love the Whispers. My mom knows the Whispers, you know. So they hired me when I was like 19 to play on a record for them, some artist that they were producing. And, I love the Whispers. I knew all their bass players from way back in the day. You know, I knew their bands, how it evolved, you know, how the evolution of it, till they had the first hit with Babyface wrote Rocksteady.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Leon Silvers wrote this, And the Beat Goes On. So they were in that Solar Sound of L.A. records. And we all used to hang out at the same places in Mavericks Flat in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have Scotty and Walter Lavelle.
Yeah.
They're just, they have always greeted me like I'm one of their kids.
Yeah, if you're in their fold, I mean, I'm close with them, man. If you're in their fold, you know, they family love. Walter Scotty Lavelle, big, who's my man Beard? My wife had a crush on Nicholas.
Nick, yeah.
And, it's just, they do that. That's a beautiful group. Mm-hmm. Now, I know Rocksteady was their hit. My first hit was I Only Wet My Feet.
Yeah, me too. I remember when they had the album cover.
Come on.
The CD. Yeah, I only meant to wet my feet, but you pulled me in.
No, stop that.
Yeah, no, that was mine too. That was like 7th grade.
We're showing our age right now. All right, man. Tony Sanders in here with Triple J, KZCT, Ozcat Radio. Look, we get them in here. They're real live people with real live lives, and they love doing what they're doing. This man loves romancing the bass. Check this out here and enjoy. You had just Jazzin with Triple J.
Magic produced that, and he plays bass in the Whispers, and Harmony is singing with Magic, and she plays keyboards and does vocals. And they both produced the Whispers' latest 2 songs that are out, and the Whispers have a CD coming out, a new CD.
And I'll be definitely shocked. One of my buddies that I meet, who's a big writer for them, Gary Taylor, and Gary wrote some monster songs for them. Mm-hmm. And I won't be shocked if some don't be on there.
Oh yeah, no, they will. And Magic has been producing them. You know, he just finished Glodine's record, Barry White's wife. You know, and Love Unlimited Orchestra.
Really?
Yeah, Glodine got a new project.
Okay, you heard it first.
Yeah.
You heard it first, family. I know back on the Philly vibe, the oldest sister, Sister Sledge, is turning jazz now.
Wow.
And that's all I can go into right now.
Okay. Okay. The bass player or the other one?
The bass one.
Yeah, the bass player.
Yes,
okay. Yeah, because she can play.
Yeah.
She can play.
She going into jazz, and then they working on the project out there. My man Stacy McGee, who's also a bass player, who I went to high school with.
Okay.
And he was telling me about it. So there ain't too much details, but we'll talk off here. Man, Tony Sanders, man, what can I say? This man is full of education. Let's talk about what's new in your music, because you put a big announcement about that on your page.
Well, okay, what's new is I've been blessed, you know, to have I switched record labels, and I was on San Francisco Records for 10 years. Mm-hmm. My first 4 CDs was on San Francisco Records, and then through the blessings of the Lord, this guy called me from Baja TSR Records. Because I told a friend of mine, a DJ in Florida, I said, Doug Sinclair, I said, I'm looking for a new label. Because I want to get on a label that's really going to make me move. Because San Francisco Records, they've done a great job, but I've outgrown it now. You know what I mean? And me and the record company president, Ron Newman, we're still friends, we're still partners. We still do a lot of business together. And he's still advising me on a lot of stuff. But it was time to move to a label that was really just going to move my project. Okay. And so 10 minutes later, after I hung up with Doug Sinclair telling him, this guy, Tom Hayden, calls. He says, Tony, I'm Tom Hayden from Baja TSR Records. And, when you have a new project finished, we'd love to hear it first. And I said, cool. So I didn't think nothing of it. This was like maybe 7 months ago. It was like in June of last year. Okay. June of 2020. And so, I didn't think nothing of it or whatever. Okay. So then he called me back in January. He said, Tony, you haven't got to us. What's up? You finished your project? And I said, oh, yeah, I'm just wrapping it up now. Because at first the record was called In the Meantime. Because in the meantime, while we locked up, this is what I'm doing. And so, this is what came out of me. And, so then I didn't think nothing of it. So then he called me again in February. He said, Tony, what's up? And I said, you know what? Let's make a gentleman's agreement that I agree to let your record company be the first people to bid on the record. And he was talking like I was already on his label. I said, but let's have a gentleman's agreement that when I'm done, I'll send it to you. So I sent him some tracks, and he called me back the same day. He said, Tony, when you get the rest of it done, we got to stick to that gentleman's agreement. And he treated me fairly, you know what I mean? So I'm signed to TSR, Baja TSR Records. And, he brought me to LA, and we hung out a couple of days and talked about the record. And he's doing great things with the record already. And plus, he lives in a great neighborhood. Miley Cyrus was his neighbor. Kim Kardashian lived down the street. J-Lo lived around the corner.
Ooh, that's Kelly
Cuoco from Big Bang Theory lived down the block. Lil Wayne lived up the hill. Khloe Kardashian had a couple of houses. Kris Jenner. I was like walking around the neighborhood, and I was going like, I could get used to this. Blow my record up. Let's go. And so I'm really, really glad, because they're really in the music business. There's only 4 artists. Niels, myself, Lawson Rollins. Lawson Rollins has a record coming out next month. And I forget the other group. And so they only have 4 acts that they promote. So they've done really good. Niels has been number 1 for a year and a half.
Niels is so underrated in my book, bro.
Yeah.
As a guitarist, he is...
Yeah, he helped me with
he did a nice song on it. It was him and someone.
Jeff Lorber.
Yeah,
Jeff Lorber.
You keeping my Philly in there, and I love that. You said woo.
Yeah, they ain't no joke.
Who makes Tony Sanders blush when he got to work with them? Male or female, but who just makes you when you work with them.
When I work with my cousin Ray Chu.
Yeah, you talk about Ray a lot.
Yeah, Ray Chu is the man.
I wish you brought him, because you talk about him a lot.
Man, it's like we did Balk Avenue, and that's the street he grew up on.
I'm glad you brought that up. Let me look that up right now. And I forgot about Balk Avenue, because when I first put that on Facebook, Tone, that took off.
Yeah,
that took off.
Good. It's still doing good.
Yeah.
I got 2 records in the top 100 right now, so that's not too shabby.
Man.
So Ray Chew, you know, when he was 16, he worked with Melba Moore. 18, Ashford Simpson. You know, so I always had him to look up to, and that's my cousin. You know what I mean? So
yes, I know the sound.
so it's like, you know, I'm always He's like at the top of the music business right now.
You can tell you have fun because you talk about him.
Oh yeah, because we have fun together. We like two kids.
Now I know you told me nothing personal, but I'm gonna have to break that promise because it's something you did. I just want to make sure it was you. It was something that you did about a handshake. You had a friend. You said y'all started out with that. Y'all started with a handshake agreement because when you just said that statement about the agreement that you were giving the breath. You made a statement about this guy was a friend of yours, and you said, man, when we first started out, it was a handshake agreement. And I was like, I marveled at that so much, Tone, because I was like, that's so weird. You don't hear about that no more. I'm like, why don't people do that today? Why is it so hard to, you know, it's gentleman agreement.
Right.
You know, and I marveled that about you. And I know, you know, but I marveled that. When you put that article, you know, I put a statement on there, and I'm like, bro, that's beautiful, because a lot of people don't talk about that. It's like, why are you afraid to admit how it was back in the day? Because it wasn't easy for musicians.
No.
It wasn't easy for musicians. And it was a lot about your word. Your word is your bond.
Yeah, your word is your
I was
bond.
raised that way. Your yays be your yays and your nays be your nays.
Your nays be your nays. Ray and his wife, they have True Entertainment. Vivian has Time Zone International. You know, they Time Zone International distributes all the music in Europe. You know what I mean? For the major labels. And so Vivian Chu, she's a role model. And then Ray Chu, I mean, he does Dancing with Stars, and he does pretty much every high-scale black event, the music, you know what I mean? And so, as an arranger and a producer, you know what I mean? And you know, but he's also close enough to me where he goes, Tone, don't be driving back, you know, stay here in L.A., you know, stay at my house until the morning. You know, don't be just thinking you have to drive back because you finished the session at 1 in the morning. You know, you ain't got to drive back.
I'm the same way, bro. I'm the same way, because you gotta definitely be careful, man.
Oh yeah.
Me and my wife, before she passed, but she passed in her sleep. But when our vows that we made when we married each other is that we would never go to bed angry.
Yeah.
One way or another. One of us, you know, make peace.
Right.
Because you never know. Now, little did I know how much of an epiphany I was having when we had that conversation. But it is so true when you said that. Yeah, when you do people like that, you're like, look, just rest your neck. I mean, man, I got off the assignment that I was working last night, 12 midnight.
Right.
I'm sitting up there like, I don't know how in the world I'm going to get up. I said, man, I got to get up. I got to come out there.
Man, I was practicing music till 3 o'clock.
Man.
I made myself go to bed at 3 o'clock. I had dozed off during the Raider game. I was watching the football game, and I dozed off that. But then I was up from about 11 till 3. You know, because I got practice every day because I'm trying to make sure that
trying to home in.
I'm trying to make sure that that can't, you know, you can't beat me too much.
Okay.
And I gotta be able to do my thing. And you know, I can tell you the other person that I blush around is Brian Bromberg, because I like him a lot. I like him a lot.
That's one of my heroes, man. Yeah, that's a bad bass player.
Yeah, he's a bad bass player. He ain't no joke.
No.
And you know, he inspires me. You know what I mean?
And I mean, that speaks accolades for you, man, because you just saying to people that you still saying, man, I buy that. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's switch the tank. Musicians who, if it was a Tony Sanders top 3, I know this is a tough one because you done spoke to some beautiful names. But who would be the top 3? I would just give off.
Okay, I have to eliminate my dad. I can't. Let's not put my dad in the equation.
Okay, no problem.
If I could play with my dad and Ray Chew every day, that'd be it.
You be making albums forever.
I wouldn't need to go nowhere.
Okay.
You know, but I like Paul Jackson Jr. a lot.
Okay.
And I like Gerald Albright a lot.
Uncle G. That's second Uncle G right there.
Man, Gerald Albright a lot, and Paul Jackson, G and Paul Jackson Jr. And I would say the third one would probably be Niels. You know, because Niels actually set me down and said, you know, that's good, Tony, but no. and you know, and then this other guy who's unheralded. This is a tie between Niels and this guy from Santa Fe named Drew Youngs, because he goes like, you know, that's cool what you play, Tony, but play this. You know what I'm saying? And he did The Look of Love. He produced The Look of Love on my new album. And, you know, he's a great producer, great guitar player. He's kind of quirky, kind of weird, but he can really play guitar.
So it's safe to say you like challenges.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know, and I love like the Victor Wootens of the world. There's that bass player that's from the Bay, Tiny. I mean, he's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of great musicians here in the Bay.
What's your reflections on the stand-up bass?
I love. So I make my bass sound like I'm really a frustrated upright player.
Got you.
Right, but when I got little hands, but Alfonso Johnson told me, he said, Tony, what I want you to do is always put the knobs on the EQ in the middle, because get that sound out of your hands. So people think that I play different basses to play the melodies and the bass part, but it's the same bass, and it's just your hand. You know what you put into, the feeling that you put into the hand on your neck. So I'm a frustrated upright guy because I wanted to be like Ray Brown and Paul Chambers, like those guys. I wanted to swing like that, and do that. But
you doing what you do, bro. You paving the road.
I got a different vibe.
Tell me about the book.
The book is going to be about me growing up with watching another musician.
Okay.
But that other musician was my dad.
Yes, sir.
And we got some stories. And it's going to be a good book. It's not going to. What he went through, I went through. My biggest thing in life was when my dad asked me, right before, it was too sad. So the only sad part about it is the book is going to end when he has his stroke. Up until that point, you always want to. Everybody grows up. Some of us go, I don't want to be like my parents. I'm be as far away from them if I can. Not me. I want to do everything my dad did, because he was like, I'm seeing this lifestyle. I'm like, I really like this. I'm flying around the world, playing music, getting paid, And so, and when my dad asked me to produce him, I was like,
wow. Because
I've been asked him my whole life. I said, Dad, you should let me produce that. I know you the best. Dad, you should give me a shot. And you do give all these other people a shot. Let me get a shot. So finally, he came to me and said, Tone, okay, you can produce me now. Let's go. And so I produced 4 songs with him. I give him the with him credit for GP, but it was really me producing my dad.
Wow.
And we did a great song with Mavis Staples, and
I remember that song.
It was the song "The Grass Is Greener." It's on his album that I produced called "Still Groovin'," which is available on TonySaunders.com.
Put that plug.
It was a great experience. I also produced his solo jazz piano record. And I'll say, he would go, "How was that?" And I said, "Let's do it one more time, Dad." But I have the most respect for my dad. Showed me everything. I just did it a little faster because I'm next generation.
Exactly.
So I did it a little faster, just like the kids are doing it a little faster than I do it. But it was an amazing thing to watch the joy that my dad felt, after he listened back to his project, and the more trust he gave me. Because it used to be when we would write on TV shows together, he might let me write something, but then as we grew together more, he said, "Oh, you do this part. Oh, you do this part." Same thing with Ray Chu. "Oh, Ray Chu, do this. Oh, Ray Chu arrange this."
Passing the baton.
Yeah, passing the baton on. Without having to reflect on what's going on. And he exposes. I mean, I've been exposed to the Grateful Dead type of music, Latin music, rock music, and jazz music right here in the Bay, and it's a great thing.
I tell you, man, Is the book got a title yet, or are we still in preliminary?
The temporary title is "Growing Up with My Dad."
All right, brother. And you heard it first. Tony's putting the plug in. And what's your website? People can check you out at?
TonySaunders.com. www.TonySaunders.com.
Okay, and on that note, we're going to let you listen to Balk Avenue, him with his cousin. And y'all enjoy that. So introduce the song.
Well, this song is Balk Avenue.
Come on.
And it's Paul Brown on guitar and my cousin Ray Chu on the acoustic piano. Gail is on Rhodes, and Tony Moore is on drums.
And it's on the CD titled
Sexy Something.
Have a listen.
Right here on KZCT 89.5 FM.
Man, I got a live drop. Look at that. Stop it. I got to pinch myself. Tony Sanders. Enjoy. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was Mr. Tony Sanders right there, Balk Avenue. That's nice, man. And that's all now. Wait a minute. You got all these CDs out right now. how do you forecast where they fall at? 'Cause we got Awful Love. We got
Uptown Jazz. We started with Romance in the Bass.
yes,
And then we went to
Sexy Something.
Appaloosa. And then we went to Uptown Jazz. And then we went to Sexy Something. And now we All About Love. But as you can see, all the titles is Appaloosa's where they were running, you know, just running free. You know what I mean? And then we go to Uptown Jazz. That's because I wanted to go uptown. Like I'm a San Francisco boy, but I got New York in my heart. You know what I mean? I'm born and raised in San Francisco, but I'll New York you to death.
Come on, bro. We two cities by the water.
Yeah.
You over here by the Bay. I'm over here by the Atlantic. So you know, when I go to
Philly,
New York,
oh yeah, I know my way around Philly too. I played at the Walnut Street Theater. Hey, I used to.
Wait a minute, where was I at when you was doing all this, man?
I don't know. I got engaged with that. Man.
I was probably in the military.
I got engaged one day going to the mall in Philadelphia.
You got hook wing.
Oh yeah. I got super hood with. You know, she's luckily we're still friends. But she was a nice.
You told me
girl.
you wasn't gonna go.
No. We're gonna leave personal stuff out, but we're still friends. We're still friends. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay, yeah.
But you know, all my records, Sexy Something was about, you know, just having that little swag. You know, because all these young kids was coming to my gig, and they always want to hang out, you know, and go to breakfast and do whatever. You know what I mean? So finally, something, you know, because I'm a great adorer of my mom, my grandma. Both of my grandmothers, my mom, you know, that's who, because my dad was on the road, you know what I mean? So I was raised by, that was who my mom pushed me, and my grandmother took me to music lessons every week, you know, because my dad was on the road. The women have just lit my life up with a bunch of love. People, you know, them senators in Washington, D.C. right now, they forgot that, you know, if women rule the world, really, because if they stop, the whole world stops.
Chaos.
The whole world stops.
Chaos.
There won't be one baby made.
My mother is 89, but my great-grandmother, Miss Lucinda Davis, died at 102. My grandmother, Beulah, her daughter, passed at 100. And my mom is now 89. And I said, my mom is blessed to see 100. That's 300 years.
Wow. It's a lot.
Teaching that I have under my belt. Because from my great-grandmother, I sit up there and playing her hair, man. She was part Cherokee. I used to just run my fingers through her gray hair. Pretty gray hair. And
my great-grandmother was Cherokee, too. My great-grandmother was Cherokee. And do you know, she was so nice. She lived to be like 97. And, man... And she came to California in a covered wagon.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
My grandmother didn't take no transportation. She walked everywhere.
Wow.
In heels.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, the backbone of the women, man. No, you can't.
You can't fathom that. She would have.
The backbone of that strength.
So we would always have, you know, places where we go after school where we'd be getting this education. We didn't realize it was structure and education. But we'd be there with we call it Papa Mama, and she was just an incredible lady, you know, just an incredible lady. And then my grandmothers, both of them, they both were incredible ladies.
Strong, man.
You know, just real strong.
And that's why we are what we are today, because there's strength, and that's why the children today are so weak. They're like, ain't no fathers at home. I said, no, it's not the fathers, man. I said, dude, when I was growing up, it was called a nation raised a child. I said, in my neighborhood, I had a mother and a grandmother, but then it was Aunt Eva, Aunt Carrie, you know, you had different ladies on the end who were aunts. And if they see you doing something wrong, they're, JJ, what you doing? You know,
cricket and
you know, you couldn't get away with nothing. What you doing on this corner?
Right.
So, you know, and I'm like, once that heritage stopped, all the other cultures that have come to this country, God bless their heart, they picked that up from us, man. And once we stopped it, that's when it all fell apart. Because, like you said, we have to understand the true words of that song, The Greatest Love of All. The children are the future. Yeah. Rather you or not, yes, we would love to live forever. That's not promised. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So you have to pass that baton.
Yeah.
And it should be beholden to you to pass it. Because knowledge, really and truly, Tony, is basically what you've been saying through this whole interview. It's all you can give them.
Yeah. And so all you can give is knowledge and your goodness.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can share your goodness. You know what I mean? And you can see through see through so much. The older you get, that's what the young kids don't get. Is we could see through the mess so much easier now that we're in. So me and you, we're ending the third quarter and entering the fourth quarter. We're in the fourth quarter.
This ain't because the Greasing Formula stopped.
No, I stopped that. So this is the fourth quarter of our life.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And we're ending the game where we're getting ready to total up the final score.
There you go.
And so you know,
I like that analogy.
Yeah, but when you see stuff, you know, people think they're slick and all that stuff. You see all that stuff. It's like point blank to you. That's what becomes more aware the older you get.
Yeah.
Your awareness level is like you can see through
like
BS.
Like you can see it in your hand.
Yeah,
I tell a lot of people that are my friends, I said, man, what you doing? I saw like 20 years ago. And it's a blueprint so far. I'm like, I can almost forecast where you're going with it.
Right.
Because it hasn't changed. And that was the one thing my great-grandmother said. She told me on the steps that night. She said, baby, life is circle. 360 degrees. She said, you know what the circle is? I said, yeah, Grand. She said, okay. She said, life is circle. She said, but the question, she looked at me, are you going to recognize it when it returns?
Right.
She said, because everything will repeat.
Right.
You know, so.
I have like clients that come to me, you know what I mean, and everybody wants to be famous, right? They all come to me with that dream. But then I have certain clients who they're just steady. They keep at it more and more and more, and they work with me all the time. And they you know, it's not just you know, like flash in the past, but they're able to do a lot more with what they bring, because they come there eager to work and eager to learn, and then their project ends up being better, as well as the person who comes to me and gives me $30,000-$40,000 and says, okay, fix it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You get and okay, with that being said, I'm gonna play this next song, then let's go ahead with it right now. With that being said, because you was once a man who was independent, you still very much is, but you cross over so easily with the big, you know, jazz musicians that are out there because of your expertise in the field and theirs. What is your advice for independent musicians? Because that's what I see. I see you can see the ones who are grinding, you know, who are pushing their music every day, getting out there. Like you said, you still practice with your bass. What is your advice to independent musicians or anybody in that field?
Be true to your artistry. Okay. You know what I mean? If you're a guitar player, do everything that you need to do to be a guitar player. If you're a singer, do everything that you need to be a good singer. You know, because no matter what, there's always somebody better than you. For one.
Come on, Tom.
For two, but nobody has the soul that you have to put into your music. So if you could put yourself into you and deliver that as a total message, that's why I know I'm successful. I'm not a virtuoso bass player, but I can play good enough to make you cry. You know what I mean? What's important to be a virtuoso or to make you cry? You know, I think that touching that human emotion is something that's
some old songs used to do. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
like
you know,
old songs.
Got me going in circles.
Yeah, come on.
Whoa, round and round.
You still play Love and Happiness today, man. Ow, and that song people just stand up like this the national anthem because it was just the message in the music. Come on,
what's going on?
Come on,
that whole record was like, it's still today.
A message.
It's a message. Marvin had a message.
Was preaching.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about, man, back in those days, I think what I'm loving about now, what the younger people doing, they're really listening to them songs now. I'm like, yeah, y'all heard how premature these guys were from seeing what was coming around. You know, Paul Hardcastle, when he put out 19, it was the then, but it's now to this day, man.
Yeah.
So wow.
Yeah, and speaking on that, people don't remember. People that are young folks don't even know when Stevie Wonder wanted to switch from singing those Motown tunes to singing his own music. He had to hold out for almost a year and a half.
Come on.
And until he got to do Intervision, you know what I'm saying? And people don't know that. He wouldn't, because he used to put out a single every 3 months. You know, James Brown at one point. I remember when I was a kid, James Brown almost had records coming out weekly. You know, those records came out so quick. And then Motown was following that same pattern with Stevie Wonder. And then Stevie Wonder said, "I don't want to do nobody's tune. I got some other stuff in my head." And he held out for a year and a half because
him and Smokey both, man.
Yeah.
They were so proud of you.
Yeah.
Marvin, him, Smokey, Marvin. At that time, Diana, because even Diana was playing with tunes. And oh yeah, we ain't gonna go there, Tony. We'll be here another hour. We're not
yeah, I just remember one day it was the Supremes, and then the next day it was Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Come on.
I'm just saying.
Brother, when I was in Philly, I remember it was just Martha Dale, then it was Martha Dale and the Drills.
Okay.
That's another hour, T. That's
Okay.
another hour.
Right.
Take it. All right,
Yeah,
I'm going to let y'all listen to one more hit off of Tony Sanders. Let's do one. I'm going to do this one, but then we're going to back it up. Yeah, we're going to back it up with one. Is there any particular one that I didn't play yet and the beat goes on you want to sell out with?
On that record, I would say we already played Celebrate You.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Summertime Love.
Gotcha. All right, man. Have a listen. We're going to mix both of these in.
Because that's produced by, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Adam Hawley, who's #1 on Billboard right now.
Adam Hawley's my boy.
Yeah, he produced.
Professor, Dr. Adam
Yeah,
Hawley.
Dr. Adam Hawley. I love me and him talk on the phone for hours.
Me and him been talking. We've been emailing for the longest.
Yeah. No, he's like incredible.
You're not going to
Incredible.
get me in trouble. I got a
Okay.
time limit on the
Hey,
show.
you're listening to Ozcat Radio, KZCT 89.5 FM.
Come on, man. This man gonna get me in big trouble talking with him. I got my man I out there. I give me that look like, hey, bro. Hey, I got 97 flavors ready over here. This is the Tony Sanders, man. Welcome to the show. We just jazzing. Right there, that was Summertime Love, all about Love CD. Tony, tell them about yourself, man.
Hey, you can get anything you want to get from me at TonySaunders.com. You can join my mailing list by going to info@TonySaunders.com, and I'll send you a free download of my latest single. You can catch me on the radio on Worldwide Jazz Radio. All jazz, all the time. Tuesdays at 4 p.m. and Saturdays at 5 p.m. That's worldwidejazzradio.com. And I play on my Facebook pages live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can see me playing to my latest songs, and sometimes we have special guests to play with me. So there's plenty of chances to catch me. And then October 26th, we'll be back out and about at Yoshi's. And if you join, if you get a Yoshi's ticket, and you're one of the first 10 people that want to tell me that you got a Yoshi's ticket, I'll send you a free CD.
Amen. There you go, man. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
No, my pleasure.
Oh, no, my pleasure too.
And y'all, thank y'all for enjoying it. I'm glad it took up most of the show. Ozcat Radio, KZCT, 89.5 FM. All right, hey, I'm out the door. I'm so gracious, so blessed to have this man here doing the show with me. Both believers in the Word and the Lord Jesus, and we both know we didn't wake ourselves up this morning. But he said,
Amen.
Jay, I was up 3 in the morning playing with the bass. You heard him. All right, y'all take care. You know my word. Keep your head up. Keep your eyes forward. Stay in the faith. And whatever you do, all that you do, always, please keep it jazz. I'll see y'all next week, Lord willing. This is Triple J. I'm out. Thank you for tuning in to Just Jazzin', Episode 1 on Jam Fusion Jazz, KJFJ Ozcat Radio. I'm your host, Triple J. Take care and keep it jazz.